everyone, welcome to Credential Up Houston. My name is Margaret Fisher. Our focus today is on population growth in Texas and its impact on the construction industry. According to the February 2021 Texas Relocation Report, more than 500,000 people moved to Texas in 2019. The report indicated that the net gain is approximately 100,000 new Texas residents for the year. Additionally, reports indicate that thousands of migrants are coming from California and other states, making the Lone Star State one of the country's top destinations for relocation. And McAllister Investment Real Estate surmised that the number one reason for the in-migration is jobs. Joining us to discuss in-migration within the construction industry and opportunities at Alleyton Resource is Ms. Erin Anderson, Director of Human Resources at Alleyton Resource. Ms. Anderson, thank you so very much for joining us. So tell us about in-migration and what is occurring in the construction industry.
So what we're seeing is just what you said. We have over 1,000 people moving to Texas every day, and it's creating such a busy time for us, and that we are busier than ever before. We have so many people, we have such a demand for both homes, we have such a demand for commercial buildings, and it is creating such a need for jobs that it's almost more than we can keep up with right now.
So I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm wondering, with Texas being the go-to destination at this particular point, what does it say about some of the other states? Jobs, yes, number one reason, but are there other reasons as well why there would be so much in-migration to Texas?
I think that there's a lot of reasons why we're seeing so many people come to Texas. I think Texas is very attractive for business to be here. I think people have been coming to Texas because home prices have been attractive. I think the size of homes, so many people are working remotely and they need the extra space. That's been very attractive. I know for the homes that we work on, the size of the home and the number of bedrooms, the extra space for home offices has been very attractive. And the idea of not having to pay state taxes has been very attractive. So there's a lot of reasons why people want to come to Texas.
Of course, and as you mentioned, like the cost of living, and some people say, well, it's cheaper to live in Texas and you're getting more for your money.
Right.
Which in comparison to a lot of other states, that's absolutely right. So are you finding that the in-migration is improving your access to more qualified talent to fill the in-demand jobs that you have at your company?
In some cases, yes, but we do have a lot of jobs that, just like every other company out there, there is a real shortage for talent. We have a shortage for talent in drivers, for example, and that's something that we're seeing across the country. And so we fight for that just like everybody else does, and certainly something that we need to fix, but that's more of an industry issue.
Certainly it is, and I understand there's a lot of poaching as well in many of the careers that are in demand as well. So there are individuals who move from one company to the next, and companies that are recruiting from one company to theirs. So how is the in-migration impacting the need for additional housing? Because it seems as though there are lots of houses and lots of apartments in Houston and in Texas for that matter. What are your thoughts about that?
For the most part, for transitional housing, we seem to be doing okay as far as getting people here as we hire them and get them relocated. Housing inventories are starting to run low for us, though, as far as getting people settled and as far as getting people permanent housing. We do have people that start to struggle as they try to find areas, and in certain areas, and as they're trying to find that particular house in a certain area, it is becoming more and more difficult, and people are starting to find that they're having to wait a little bit longer. And that's something that, as long as I've lived in Texas, I haven't seen to the degree that we're seeing today.
So, Ms. Anderson, we talked about the drivers and we talked about poaching within the industry. And so, I'm wondering also about some of the other opportunities that you have specifically at your company that are really in demand?
We have so many different types of jobs. We have engineering jobs, we have sales jobs, we actually have a whole other business because we run a very large aggregates operation too. So we have a partner company. We don't just produce concrete, but we actually we produce the aggregates that makes the concrete. And so we have a lot of field type jobs that are actually out working in our sand and gravel pits where they actually help produce the materials that make concrete. So all of those roles are also very much in demand for us as well.
Yes, of course. And so I would presume that similar companies would also have the same types of demands for employees. But I think as you start looking at expanding your company and moving to various other parts of the state, that you're looking at partnerships, I would think, that would make it easier as well to get the kind of collaboration that would be necessary. Is that right?
We are open to partnerships. A lot of times we've grown through acquisition, which is great on both ends because a lot of times people get very nervous when, especially a bigger company comes in and buys their company, they get very nervous that they might lose their job. And in most instances, we're able to provide them better benefits, better things like more time off and things like that. And then also some other opportunities. And so, they have a chance to then further develop their career as well. So it's typically a very good move for them. So we do acquisitions. We are looking at partnerships. And then we also develop our own sites as well. And so there's a lot of room for growth and opportunity within our organization.
And so I would presume that with the hard to fill jobs, that's something that would be of focus as well for your company to make sure that you can recruit broadly in order to get the talent that you need.
One of the things that my team does is we have to get very creative on how we recruit. And so we do things that a lot of other companies do as far as referral bonuses and sign-on bonuses for drivers, things like that. But we're also looking at, partnerships with people transitioning out of the military and people transitioning out of correctional facilities and offering people second chances because sometimes, there's great opportunities there for people to start fresh with us in the right types of positions. So we're always looking for ways to partner within our communities to work with people to help them out and then provide them with a great way to develop themselves as well.
That's perfect. And of course, we will talk further about recruiting from Allerton Resource in just a moment, but we're going to take a break. And when we return, we will continue our discussion with Ms. Erin Anderson of Allerton Resource. So please stay with us.
$150 over $90.
$180 over $111.
$160 over $110. I had a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering them could save you from having a stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourbp.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org.
Welcome to HTC.
Let me
teach you. Let me help you get college credits.
Let me train you for a new career.
Let me change your life.
Come learn with us.
HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston, our discussion with Ms. Erin Anderson, Director of Human Resources at Allerton Resource. Ms. Anderson, in the last segment, as we were talking about your company, what I'd like for you to do is to tell us how you recruit, but precede that with a basic snapshot of your company and the kinds of services that your company provides, please.
Primarily, we're broken down into two main businesses. And in our local community, what people probably know us most for is our ready-mix concrete trucks labeled as Allied Concrete. Allied Concrete's been in the local community for almost 70 years. And so we've built quite a bit of the city of Houston and the surrounding areas. But we're called Alleyton because we also own several sand and gravel pits out in the West Houston area, as well as far up north, going out towards Spring, Romare, like way up north. And those are our aggregate producing pits. So we not only make, like I said earlier, we make the materials that then turn into ready-mix concrete. And so that's what we do primarily.
Very good. So how do you recruit persons for the jobs in those areas? And what kinds of skills and credentials do the potential employees need to have?
Sure. Well, it takes a lot of people to do something that most of us probably don't even really think about. We walk on concrete, we live in concrete, we shop in concrete, and we rarely think about it, but it does build our civilization and it does build our community. And it takes a lot of different skill sets to do that. And so we recruit everywhere. We recruit from our local communities, we recruit from workforce centers, we recruit from our current employees, we recruit from colleges. We have partnerships with our local schools because we're always looking for a young talent looking to get their career started. And then, like I said earlier, we're looking at diversifying that even further to try to see where we can start giving people second chances, whether they're transitioning out of the military and looking for careers, or trying to get people who are maybe transitioning out of correctional facilities where maybe they're looking to start over in a career, because we do offer some career paths where people can actually find a niche with us and develop a career with us.
That's rather rare, isn't it? So what are some of those jobs that persons who are transitioning from, let's say, correctional facilities into jobs with Alleyton would have a particular competitive edge in trying to cure?
You know, depending on the situation, in our aggregate facilities, we have positions where people can work in our aggregate sites and they can work with producing aggregates. They can work in those locations. They can learn how those sites actually mine rocks for us. They can learn how to work through that entire process. They can learn, they can move from site to site. They can learn how to operate different types of equipment. And then from there, they can develop their career really into whatever they want it to be, depending on how dedicated they are to the role and how skilled they are and how much effort they put into the role.
That sounds like on-the-job training to me.
Yes.
Yes. So for some of your positions, obviously, that you have, like in engineering, that would require credential.
Correct.
Is that right? Yes. So what about some of your other jobs? Let's say jobs that persons who are interested in building a career with Alleyton could enter into. They have, let's say, an associate's degree, or they have a community college credential or certificate. What kinds of jobs would be available to them? For example, like you mentioned earlier, like sales as one example. what are the skill sets required for that with your company?
Our salespeople are outgoing. They know our business. They know how to form relationships with people. They know our products. We have quality control folks that don't necessarily come to us with quality control certifications, but we will help them get those certifications. We have a lot of different types of financial positions because our business is diversified. So our financial systems are rather diversified. So we do have quite a bit of different types of financial services roles. And then we have human resources roles as well.
Very, very good. And so I'd like to get contact information from you just in just a bit. Yes, of course, that's because that would help a lot of our viewers who are interested in looking for employment and improve their livelihood for that matter, which is really great. In reading some of the journals about the construction industry, and COVID-19 has really had quite a significant impact upon all of us. But one of the comments that has been made consistently is that the construction industry will lead the growth of the economy coming out of COVID-19. So the economy is opening up, and I'm wondering what are some of the challenges that you are finding now?
Some of the things that we're finding is really keeping up with our supply and demand. We are so busy. When COVID first hit us, we were very concerned as to what would happen to people as unemployment started to just skyrocket. We were very concerned about what would happen to people wanting to buy homes. We were very concerned about what would happen to people being able to go out and go shopping and go out to eat and things like that. And we had a very small slowdown in March and April of last year. And since then, not only have we recovered, but we have been so busy. It's been everything on our entire team to keep people staffed, to keep people scheduled, to keep people busy. And it's taken everybody within the organization to make this happen for us this year. So we've been very, very fortunate that this has happened. It's been a great time to be in Texas, where so many people are coming here. It's been a great time to be in Texas, to see so many new neighborhoods being established and so many people finding their dream homes and so many people finding new places to live. But it's been a very exciting time here at Alleyton too. It's always exciting in human resources when you get to see new positions developed and you get to see new people come into your organization because they're starting something pretty exciting for themselves as well.
Yes, of course. And of course, with the supply and demand issues sometimes that will arise, obviously, a lot of the homeowners would be concerned about that, and subcontractors as well, primarily because you're looking at change orders and you're looking at delays and scheduling and all of that. So that becomes somewhat problematic. So we're going to take another break, Ms. Anderson, and when we return, we will discuss one of the points that you've mentioned earlier about diversity in the construction industry. And I went to your website and I saw that that's one of the areas of focus for your company. So we're going to talk about that when we return, so please stay with us.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt Pure Love at theshelterpetproject.org.
The faculty at HCC represents the best of the city. They're committed to getting our students to their goals.
A 4-year degree.
Workforce training.
A better life.
HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston. We're continuing our discussion with Ms. Erin Anderson, Director of Human Resource at Allerton Resource. Ms. Anderson, thank you so very much for staying with us. We now want to talk about diversity within the construction industry, and particularly with Alleyton. I noticed that, as I mentioned before, as I looked at your website, and I saw that you really highlight the individuals who come into your company and the diversity in terms of the ethnic groups, in terms of the various categories of individuals and the educational levels and so forth, and the women who are joining your company as well as the minorities. So I thought that was rather fascinating. So tell us about your focus on diversity, and was that really a conscious decision that was made by your company that, yes, we're going to follow all of those guidelines, but we're going to ensure that we have diversity as well of individuals who meet the qualifications?
I think part of it's been a very conscious decision, and part of it has been somewhat accidental. We've always found our best employees through our local communities, and our local communities are very diverse. So we have a pretty good diverse population just right in our own backyards. And so when I got to Alleyton 6 years ago, we had a fairly diverse population. But since then, we've done a very good job of bringing new types of diversity into our workplaces. Our ageism is an issue. Our average age of our employee at Alleyton is their mid-40s. And so bringing newer people, really focusing on new graduates and getting younger talent into the organization has been a huge issue for us, and something that's worked out very well for us. Bringing in female drivers into our organization and finding a home for female drivers has been another big initiative for us. And today, just not even looking at Alleyton, but looking outside the region of our company, we have over 50 women now just in the Texas region. And we celebrated them in March on Women in Construction Week. And it was pretty exciting to see because now we're not just celebrating typically what we were celebrating with women in our business was Administrative Professionals Week. And so now we're actually celebrating our women in the field with Women in Construction Week. And that was really exciting to see.
That is exciting. So what are some of the different job categories that the women are now working in?
Yeah, we have female foremen, we have female supervisors in the field, we have female engineers, we have some female contract supervisors, we have female drivers, and so I think we even have some folks in our aggregate facilities now. And so we have a lot of diversity now throughout our organization, and certainly something that we're very proud of, because as we grow, we continue to look more and more like our local communities, and that's really what we want our organization to look like.
Congratulations, that's really quite commendable. And so as we look at how the pandemic really forced everyone to look at a new way of doing business, I'm wondering, to what degree has Alleyton focused on technology, including more technology into what you do?
Electronic ticketing has become very important to us, and making sure that drivers are safe and that they're not handling things that they don't need to handle. Keeping, at least initially, keeping people at home where they were communicating via video conferencing, things like that were very important. We're all pretty much back in the office now, but keeping our safety protocols in the office now has been very important. And we've had a very smooth transition, both during COVID, but then also returning back to work too.
And so a number of organizations such as yours in the construction industry, in fact, they have indicated to me in my conversations with them that since most of their employees are out for the most part in the field, that they were not able to, they didn't have to cut the personnel or the staff significantly, that they were able to continue to work and they were able to outfit them with all of the hand sanitizers and all things appropriately for them to use. So based upon the technology piece that you've integrated into your work, I would presume also that there are some important lessons that you've learned as well. And can you share some of those important lessons with us, please?
Most important lessons for us were we needed to learn how to work remotely. We needed to learn how to incorporate the technology that we had at our disposal that we were never taking advantage of. And things like video conferences, we never utilized. So if I wanted to go talk to somebody at a plant, I actually got in my car and I drove to go see the people at that plant. And while that's still very valuable, it takes a lot of time. And so we learned that we can still have FaceTime with each other, but we don't actually have to get up and go and be face-to-face with each other. We can actually spend time and still communicate with each other through some technologies. We found that there was technologies that actually made work faster for us. We weren't having to shuffle papers around like we were. And so using some electronic technologies for ticketing, invoicing, things like that makes life a little bit faster for us. We moved to an electronic onboarding during that time so that the HR team wasn't handling so much paperwork that other people were touching. We were still hiring people during the height of COVID. And so being able to have people have all of their paperwork completed before they even got to us was a huge time saver for us. And it's allowed us to structure our orientations so that they're better for our employees and they're more fun for our employees and they're more productive and they're more interactive and they give people a better sense of who we are, and we're able to really now spend that time showing them our culture and showing them what they're getting into, so to speak, than that typical first day where you just sit and fill out paperwork. So we've learned a lot about how we can incorporate technology and make it better and make our jobs more fun and make things easier for us.
Well, that's great. So give us contact information. We have a lot of students who are obviously very bright and they're eager to work while they're going to school. And by the way, do you have tuition reimbursement for your company?
We do at certain times.
Okay.
So it's not an always existing program, but we do at certain times. So, so that would be something that if they were interested in, they could contact their manager or their local HR person. And we could certainly talk to them a little bit further about that. But to contact me, the best way to get in touch with me is through my cell number, and that's 713-703-1039.
That's excellent. You'll probably get a lot of calls.
Great.
It's like your personalized job fair that you're having.
That's great to know.
Persons who will be calling you. Absolutely right. Well, Ms. Anderson, thank you very much for joining us. This has been absolutely great. You have worked for many Fortune 500 companies in the past, and so you are really quite a star.
Thank you.
It's been a real privilege to visit with you, and we thank you so very much for sharing with us. And to our viewers as well, thank you all for watching. If you know anyone who would like to credential up for a great career, please direct them to hccs.edu/now. So this has been Credential Up Houston. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time.